はいたい. When Hiromi bin. You're watching the Scion panel for Onyx PathCon, and I'm not nearly as fluently speaking as I should be. For no fucking reason. Just been a while since I've done a panel, I guess. We have a bunch of delightful folks here, and oh, yeah, I know. I guess I should introduce myself too. This is what happens when I don't actually write down the agenda in full. Uh, Hi, I'm Hiromi Cota, they, them. I am the Scion creative lead. I'm the one who uh, looks over everything and works on damn near everything. And I've made over 100 games. So, prolific. Um, let's go counterclockwise for the fun of it and get Kim up here right away. Kim,
Oh,
how about you introduce yourself?
hi, I'm Kim Godwin. I'm a new developer for Onyx Path. My first project for developing was actually Scion Mythic Shards with Hiromi, and I also am developing the At the Gates Jumpstart, a Daemon's Bargain. But otherwise, I've worked on about 28 books altogether now for Onyx Path. So just been working on a little bit of everything. A little They Came From, a little Earthbane Cycle, some Trinity Continuum. Uh, and then a little bit of Scion. So just a little bit of everything.
Yeah, very cool. Kim's great. You will see more work from her in the future, and you'll probably love it. And if you don't, then, well, that's a you problem. Coyote, you're up next.
Hi, my name is Coyote Crow. Pronouns are she, they, they. I am not a developer, but I am a designer freelancer with Onyx Path, and I predominantly work on the Scion line.
Yeah, Coyote's great. Everyone here's great. I could say it each time, or I could say it, just the one carte blanche. So to avoid it's losing its impact. TJ, you're up.
Hi, I'm TJ, pronouns he, him. I am a freelancer. I've worked on Aberrant, I've worked on Scion. Scion Demigod is actually my first credit that has come out, but I have written on stuff. It's just waiting for the release cycle. And right now I'm working on The World Below.
Nice. Everyone's favorite, Geoffrey.
Hello, I'm Geoffrey. I have done little bits and pieces of all of the Scion core books, story guiding sections for Origin and Hero, apotheosis mechanics for Demigod, Pantheon creation for God, the Welsh Pantheon for Once and Future, the Plant Dawn. And it is, pleasant to see fans, followers, and future cult members who have turned out this evening. I don't know which ones any of you are, but I hope to find out at some point.
Yeah, and amusingly, you recently got a shout out in a PhD thesis
Oh, yes, yes.
or dissertation.
Yeah, that was a pleasant surprise. But apparently, someone was pleased at the way that Once and Future turned out. So that's good for everyone who worked on that particular book.
Yeah. Always difficult to know exactly how subject matter experts will take things, but yeah, no, she liked it.
She liked it.
Uh,
I'm still better than her, though.
you certainly are. Kyle.
Hello, my name is Kyle Novich, pronouns he, him. I have done a lot of unofficial content for Scion, but I will have a credit in the upcoming adventure module to Scion War Games, so look forward to that.
Yeah. All right. So, um, newly released, we've got Demigod Companion. Had I prepped more, I would have found out who on this panel worked on it, if anyone. Yay. Uh, who would like to say something about it? Open-ended questions, the death of conversation.
I, I mean, I would, but
Well, you're talking now, so you've
oh yeah, no,
you've made
Now
the
you're on the
mistake.
hook.
I stumbled into an obvious trap. Yeah, so Demigod Companion, what did we do? Or at least in the section that I did, touched up the rules for the creatures' birthrights slightly so that all of their stats are more clearly understandable. Added a few more tags for followers, increased the idea that um, increase the idea of what happens when you have a legendary follower or creature, and then added Kevin. You have to get the demigod companion in order to see Kevin. But if you're not a combat character, he is the most lethal follower you can have in the world, and entirely rules legal. So yeah, that's my take on my own very small section of Demigod Companion.
Nice.
Oh look, Kevin has fans. That's nice.
Perfect. Coyote, you worked on it also, yeah?
I did. I wrote all of the expansions for the Atuo, where because their pantheon doesn't necessarily separate titans from gods. What are the different aspects that are more titanic versus more of like a formal deity? My favorite contribution to that was the Kiore, which are just a destructive swarm of it's a species of rat that will absolutely destroy everything in its path. Food stores, like entire communities can fall very easily to this thing. And I also did some of the like the house spirits and denizens like that, like from the Bogovi pantheon.
Very cool. And TJ, did you say that you also worked on it?
I did. I got I thought was the coolest thing to do, which was the section on updating cults for Demigod and Covenant rules. So I got to kind of play with both those things. And then I think I can thank Geoffrey for having something else come up, because then we also needed someone to write the follower organizations, and I jumped in and did that. I think pretty much all the organizations in there had my hand on it. Scullers Guild, I like that one. It was nice to see a piece of art for that. Probably my favorite thing to get in there was Stray Mafia, but I spent way too many hours working on puns related to criminal organizations and animals. Oh, and then I did all the solo and troop play rules, which if you liked, you can thank Lauren for cleaning those up, because she had a lot of very good suggestions.
Awesome, very cool. think we'll cover Wild Hunt, and then get to the question, and then no. I'll go to the question because it's easier for me to answer.
Hmm.
So the question is, can I reveal more about incarnations in the God Player's Guide? Which, sure, yeah, no, I can do that. Um, we're I'm not going to be able to go into significant depth because that's 8,000 words, so it's a significant portion of chapter one. It goes into sort of the mechanics and story feel for creating incarnations, playing the game as an incarnation, um, also for being a god who has an incarnation who might be behaving, might not. There are rules for what happens if an incarnation decides that they don't want to be attached to the god anymore. There's a power struggle there, and if you're playing as an incarnation, you can emancipate yourself with all of the good and bad that comes with that, like making a god tier enemy for life.
Nice.
Not
Oops.
not something to be done lightly. However, if you do it, you probably have a very good reason, in which case, fuck that guy. There's also guidance for playing incarnations as just one character in a band, and for an entire band full of incarnations. You could even all be incarnations of the same god. Why not? Uh, there are different mantles. You can get different aspects going on. It'll be plenty of fun. Um, and last but not least, there are also rules for unmaking incarnations and what you get when you do that, or rather, someone gets if they unmake an incarnation, and it doesn't have to be theirs. One of the deals there is that uh, the memories of incarnations sort of live on in whoever absorbs them, meaning that if someone gets a hold of your incarnation and absorbs them, and you had some kind of secret plan against them, it's not secret anymore. So don't let your incarnations get into trouble. Um, and also rules for what happens when they die, because there's plenty of fun stuff to go around. So that's probably about as much as I can get into with incarnations without like devoting a whole panel to it. Um, do we have anyone who worked on Wild Hunt? Yay! Coyote, would you like to tell folks what what you did? Whoa, sorry, my computer just did something that I didn't like. It's fine now. Everything's fine. There are no tech mishaps in the panel ever.
No.
Coyote, tell us about it.
Yeah, it was actually my first project with Onyx Path, and with Scion. So it was, for a long time, it was my favorite assignment that I had worked on. I got to work on some antagonists. It's got some really, really cool organizations really fleshed out in it. Aurum and others, the Wild Hunt itself. Um, but yeah, I just found it to be a really captivating concept altogether, and a really nice look at parts of the world that are likely to come up in your game, but may not always be the focus. I think that always really helps sort of, it gives you and storytellers, like story guides, somewhere to pull from in order to entangle a band further in machinations that may not be directly related to the gods, but will have some kind of impact on them. So I always like more options in that way. And yeah, it was a great experience and I really loved it. And I'm so happy that it's out finally. Yeah.
Yeah, came out this Wednesday. So if that sounds like fun, you can click on the link that Zach helpfully applied. Also out this Wednesday is the God Story Guides screen, which I can guarantee has more useful information than most story guide screens because I spent a lot of time cramming in as much stuff as I could. And because God doesn't play like standard Scion, there's plenty of things in there that you'll want to keep an eye on, and or rather keep handy. Um, what's next for the line? Will we see a Scion World Guide? So Geoffrey.
Okay, this is strictly a me thing. Um, and I know that I think at the moment there aren't any official plans for it. However, I think a Scion World Guide would be a really good thing to do.
Yeah,
Just like what it's like to live in the world, or a bunch of origin level stuff. Um, you know, people having access to magic that might or might not work when they try to do it on their own. Random denizens around, as few or as many as you want to have in your game. Um, and I think especially denizens that have to deal with the fact that the ways to capture, control, or kill them are all up on Wikipedia, which is kind of creepy, you have to imagine. So, yeah, anyhow, all I will say about that, I have a secret plan.
yeah. So there's nothing um announced for that. But I have wanted to flesh out Scion's setting and provide players and story guides more space to um, enjoy what's going on. So, and like to get really like sink your teeth into the world and get a better feel for what's going on. And so don't be surprised if something like that happens, but like there's nothing in the pipeline for that just yet. Uh, in our chat, Coyote's like, more setting, more setting, more setting. And I'm like, yeah, yeah, no, it's it's appropriate. Um, so we have a bunch of things that are either done. Well, no, a bunch of things that are done from the writer's perspective. And like It's if it's not out yet, it's no one on this panel's fault. Um, there's mild rivalry between the art and writing teams. It's not serious. Um, it does exist though.
Not serious yet.
It could turn in from a playful rivalry into a heated discussion at some point. It'd be bad if it did, but it's possible. So next on my list of things that we can talk about is war games. Anyone work on war games?
And Kyle. So I think Kyle should take this one.
Yeah.
All putting me on the spot. So, War Games is has been mentioned a couple times. It is an adventure module. I did some writing, but neither of the actual adventure parts. But my responsibility was there are 5 small origin story seed quest lines to lead characters into the hero level pre-made adventure, and there are 5 pre-made god level adventure seeds to deal with the aftermath of the demigod level adventure. Also, the pre-made characters from the book Scion Titans Rising had to get upgraded to demigod level, so that was also my responsibility.
Very cool. Thank you. Yeah.
Welcome.
It's a pleasure seeing the Titanic Scions that I came up with growing up. And as a mild spoiler, if anyone likes Unlucky Mercenary, she'll be back. We're not done with her. And the others will probably be around too, because they're too much fun to let lie fallow. Geoffrey, did you have anything that you wanted to add?
Just for my own small part of war games, which is the demigod scenario. Let's see. So the general concept of the entire arc of the book, if I can say this. Oh, okay. Once every 100 or a couple of 100 years, gods from across the pantheons send their champions to compete together to decide what war is going to look like until the next time they play. And you can go back through history and you can try to figure out who won the last time around. And this time it's going to be anything from we want one empire to rule the world, or we only want the virtuous to have power, and so on, and so on, and so on. This one is going to be a complete mess, I promise, because as one of the authors of Paths to Apotheosis, where I am very pleased that the developer asked at least 2 of us, "Are you okay?" I know that the part that I wrote is going to be a bit messy as well. So that's it.
Yeah, thank you. Oh, we got a question. Are we going to see any additional deities in war games? And I think it's been over a year since I've taken a look at that, and I didn't work directly on it aside from uh, going over it and making notes that really only David saw. Do either of you recall?
I don't think there are any new like deity write-ups that you could use to make a scion of them. No, I don't recall that.
Yeah, yeah. I think I have one in there, or technically three. Definitely one though. But yeah, not in terms of written up for deity, like patron scion making status.
Yeah, that's what I thought, but like it's been a while and I didn't really. Anyway, doesn't matter. Uh, I don't need to hedge. Um, Next one in my list is so it's titled in all of the updates and roundups as God Jumpstart, but its actual title is Two to Home and Back. Um, you can't see Zach, but Zach could answer questions about this. Zach, would you like to tell folks about this wonderful book? Yeah, and we have um ready-made characters that, and like there's sort of like a newly defined pantheon that you can play as a member of. And if you don't like the characters, you can obviously swap them out for ones that you do. And the the adventure is very mythic. I will say that it probably feels more mythic than most Scion adventures, which is saying something. Um, oh, someone says they didn't hear anything.
Yeah, sorry about that. Apparently, OBS picked up the wrong microphone and not the one that they are hearing me in the Zoom chat. Um,
Oh, okay.
just as a brief summary, yeah. So a god can shoot a moon with an arrow and make it explode and follow the remains of that moon to where they need to go to find the thing that they're looking for. So it's a question of how do you tell that story, where they can literally shape the world around them.
Yeah, it's a fun jumpstart. Like if you're not sold on God, get to Home and Back and see if you like playing in a God tier setting because it's probably the best jumping off point that we're going to have for a while. Um, Next up is Divine Inspiration. Uh, Coyote. Anyone else? I really should have like prepped and dug in and found out who all did what. But okay. If if we're just mainly leaning on Coyote, then uh Coyote is tough.
Yeah, divine inspiration. It's a lot of plot seeds and plot seed packs and basically jumping off points for um, different adventures that can help story guides with where they would like to take the band next. It was super fun to work on because you really got to sit and imagine like in some of the more multi-step, seeds. What if the players do this? What if they decide to completely deviate and do something else? So there's a little bit of, I think, accounting for chaos in all of the different examples. But yeah, it's very much geared toward story guide support and streamlining the process, which can be like so intense for a lot of story guides of like, well, what do I do now? It kind of helps take some of that anxiety away and provides lots of really cool options for your bands.
Yeah, and I will say that there's, I think, just short of 100 story hooks. So like just sort of short sentence or three jumping off points, and then 22 plot seeds that you can just take on their own, and then 17 of them that are part of series, and they're part of plot seed packs, and you can kind of design your own campaign off of those, or just use them again, or also use them as jumping off points, and then have adventures of entirely of your own creation. Um, lots of locations and story guide characters. There's and when I was designing the uh, general outline of the book, I was very careful to make sure that there was something for everyone. So like if you're playing with gods, if you're playing with shepherds, if you're playing with titans, if you're playing with dragons, and like titans and dragons and scions of all tiers, because they all deserve support. Even if you're playing something that's not like um I don't even know, mainstream Scion, I guess, for lack of a better term. There are options in there for you. There's loads of content. It's a very diverse book. And fitting it all there took some math. Um, Next thing I want to talk about is Rock Gods and Road Trips, which keeps getting posted in the roundups as Rock Gods and side quests, and I'm like, please stop that. Road Trips is a cooler net title. Um, but let me. Okay, I was the only one who worked on that here, unless I'm just completely wrong.
And
Okay.
I am very curious about it.
So
I just know Thorns is a deal.
yes,
Is it?
Thorns is fantastic.
Yeah.
So Thorns is one of the ready-made characters. They are the drummer for Fate's Playthings, which is the title of the band, the band. And there are a series of adventures that will let you go through myth and fables in a sort of large overarching quest to get to a battle of the bands at Niagara Falls and take home the recording contract. But there there's all kinds of evil and antagonists and problems for you to run into. Other bands, nefarious recording executives. There's a bit of everything, and you'll encounter basically everything that you would like to in such a musically themed adventure series. There's also a thing in it that I call the Mythic Engine, um, which sort of breaks down the concept of Scion adventures into 8 scenes. And the reason here is because sometimes you don't have your full gaming group, and instead of just bailing on the session and not having something to play, you can play an abbreviated session where you collaboratively come up with a problem with your story guide. So instead of, oh, we need to do a one shot because we don't have everyone here, I'm the story guide. I'm going to leave for like 30 minutes while I come up with something on my own. No, 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 no. Everyone gets to stay in the same room, play together, work together, make stuff. And the handy part with the scene breakdown is that it tells an episodic story, similar to what you'll see in supernatural episodic television, like Supernatural, The X-Files, and even Scooby-Doo to a certain extent. And you can fast forward certain scenes depending on how much time you have available to you, because if you're playing using the Mythic Engine, you probably don't have a full play session available to you because you were waiting for someone to show up and they didn't. So like this this is not like a huge portion of the book, but it is an extremely well laid out section, I hope. I gave very good I gave very good directions. I did a lot of word math to make sure things would fit on pages too. But it will make it so that if you don't, if the SG wants to take a break, if a player wants to be an SG for a day, if you're short on players, if you're short on time, you have gameplay options, and it'll be a lot of fun for you, and will feel like a complete adventure, even if you don't get to play every single scene in it. Um, we got a question about, will there be an expanded book on the Palas like Once in Future? Probably not like Once in Future, but we will definitely have more um, content available for them. Like, we're not going to, so okay, there are sort of two competing problems with Scion. One is that we always want to get into the existing write-ups with more depth and expand what we have available. And also we want more pantheons. And like, in a world of infinite budget and word count and pages, we could make that happen. And it would be fantastic and easy, and I would be pushing out Scion books like once a month. But we can't do that. So instead, it'll be more of a trickle and less of a waterfall like Once in Future was. So like, we'll see them again. Um, like for sure. That's in my plans for the line. Uh, but probably not, they're probably not going to get their own book just because we have so much stuff that we need to cover, both in terms of existing material and new ones. Um, we also have a God Player's Guide. Uh, any folks Kyle? No, just just like scratching your head.
Just scratching my head, yeah.
Okay. Well, let me pull stuff up for it. Okay. So, as you would expect, God Player's Guide expands on the options for gods, titans, dragons, and mythos gods. It goes pretty in depth into the kinds of fun stuff that you can do. With each of them, it has, if I remember right, it has a new sort of calling system for mythos gods because they're weird. They have new things going on. They don't play like other gods do. Um, like um, God and Dragon Companion, to a lesser extent, laid out a lot of information for what gods and dragons can do. Titans Rising laid out what Titans can do. And Mythos gods didn't get their chance to shine in Eldritch Light yet. So God Player's Guide gives them a chance to do that. Also, finally, we have rules for creating gods, titans, dragons, mythos gods, pantheons, realms, incarnations. The realm conditions and problems that were introduced in God get super expanded. Like if you weren't sure exactly what you might want to have a realm condition do, or how you would combat a problem, or if you're a story guide, how you would foist problems upon your players. Those are all covered in pretty good detail. So there's a lot of fun stuff there for players and for SGs. Um, there's more information for incarnations. There are specialized rules for fighting over a realm. Like if you're running a Titan game and you want to steal someone's realm or you want to blow it up, you can do that. The blowing it up rules are mainly in Titans Rising, but the um, overarching principles and how to defend it are in the God Player's Guide. Also have stuff for incarnations and mantles and cults and a bunch of birthrights because uh, who doesn't like birthrights? They're always fun. Um, let's see. We have Dragon Companion. Any folks worked on Dragon's Companion? Okay. Um, Let me quickly refresh my memory. Oh, right. So we have two new flights. The bearers, which are largely turtles who the world is on their back, which is a myth that shows up more often than you think it would. And the returned, which are dragons who come back from being dead, which is kind of means that they're gonna make everything a problem. And um, maybe maybe they'll make being alive the problem of everyone. Maybe they'll make it just a problem for the people who took him out in the first place. There are a bunch of new spells and transformations in it. There are the sort of other half of the rules for playing as uh, full power dragons, for full dragons. Um, yeah. Is Tiamat going to show up in the Returned? I you know what? I'll check. I I do know that at a certain point, I was like, we have Tiamat showing up too many times. We need to limit. But we a lot of people love her, so like it's hard to not um bring her in. Yep, no, she's in there. Okay, so we are down to 12 minutes. So fortunately we only have two more books to talk about. Well, fortunately for the panel, unfortunately for everyone else, because there's more stuff that we want to talk about. Tasty Bit compilation. You've probably seen the Tasty Bits before. If not, there's a compilation coming, and you can buy all of them in one book. From Annie X to Zeus, we just want to talk. There's all kinds of goodness in there. Mythic shards. A bunch of folks here worked on mythic shards.
Mm.
Um, um, Kim just did a ton of heavy lifting for the errata and the indexing, not indexing, page XXs. If if any of you ever wondered, like saw the page XXs in a preview and wondered how those get turned into page numbers, sometimes it's developers, and in this case, it's Kim. Kim did like, I don't know, 100 of them or something.
I wasn't counting. I ended up creating a spreadsheet and then looking for all of the signature characters, the antagonists and the story guide characters, and compiling them all together so I could like cross-reference them without having to keep scrolling between the different pages and the different locations. Since we were, it's a new book, we weren't sure what the layout was going to be. We were referencing ourselves because like something like Lost Time only has Lost Time to really reference from. Same thing with Journey to the Wild West. So we're saying things here, we're referencing this. So there's lots of craziness going on. There was a lot of that in I forget where the other ones were. There was a lot of that in After the End as well, and then Farewell to Heroes. So that was fun.
Yeah, thanks for working on that. Um, Down to 10 minutes. I think rather than getting too deep into mythic shards, because that could legitimately be its own panel, I'll answer the questions that we have right now, and then let folks talk about kind of whatever they'd like to talk about, because uh, there's loads of fun stuff in Scion that I probably just skimmed over because we've only got an hour. Um, I don't have a good answer for what kind of signature magics are we looking at for the new flights, because I don't know off the top of my head, and we're down to 9 minutes, so I'm not going to be able to get that granular. What books, what crowdfunded Scion projects are we to expect this year and the next? Probably not going to see another crowdfunded Scion this year. There's something coming, and oh boy, is it secret. So, like, yeah, no, I'm not going into it any further than that. There are plans. I always have plans. Like there have been panels where I said like I have a list of like 10 books that aren't yet announced that we're working towards. And yeah, my list is shorter now, but it's still there. Um, uh, Before we leave off, Kyle, is there anything fun that you wanted to talk about?
Only thing I worked on was something I already mentioned, so I'm good.
Okay. Geoffrey, how about you?
Well, I've got my entire Scion side hustle, which is, what if you did an entire Origin game in a small Canadian town? So it's, I don't know, Alice Munro plus the supernatural. It's very nice. But yeah, no, that's, I think, the only thing that I'm working on right now that I can speak about.
Yeah, no, that's extremely fair.
Hmm.
TJ, we unfortunately didn't have a lot of things to bring up that you worked on, which is, I mean, that happens, I guess. So like that now the forum is yours. Is there anything you wanted to talk about?
Yeah, they usually have to be released before I can talk about them. So, well, if you liked Mythos but you haven't picked up Scion Demigod, I tried to insert a little bit of crossover material that you could squint at and use, especially in the cult section. I tried to a little bit more, and Lauren told me no, so that's fine. Other than that, for Scion specifically, I've got some community content out there. One short piece I did for some Origin options for, I think it was last year's Game Jam. I worked I think the first thing on Scion I ever worked on and put out in the world was a book called The New Gods, and I'm updating that to reflect everything that's come out. So I think I wrote that in like 2020. So big update there. I paused the layout because, again, Lauren told me, no, you can't release your Dominion PSP until the actual Dominion PSPs are out. So, and then Coyote and I worked co-developing Scion Pride 2024, right? I think it was that one. So yeah, there's a lot of good stuff on the Vault, actually, or Nexus. Sorry.
Nice. Yeah, if you wanted to plug them, like to link them, you might not be able to link them directly into the chat, but if you put them in the Zoom chat, then we can paste them over for you.
Yeah, let me find it.
Coyote, anything that you wanted to talk about?
Yeah, we're actually working on Scion Pride 2025 right now. Kind of feels like it's more important than ever to get some queer Scion content out there, which almost all Scion content is queer, which is great, but like some extra. So yeah, if we can get that done, hopefully, over the summer and release that soon.
Nice. Yeah, I hope that it is big and jam-packed with all sorts of goodies, and that people love it because you're right. Scion Pride is more important this year than most.
And
Uh,
the vast majority of the proceeds will go to this year it's going to be specifically a US based charity just because of what's going on here.
Mhm.
But they're always donated to an LGBTQIA plus charity.
Awesome. Very cool. Kim.
So I'm working on a bunch of stuff, which will probably get covered in the Earthbane cycle and what's coming next in the Curseborn panels. But something that is an Onyx Path that both Hiromi and I worked on was Realm Walker, which was in development for a very long time, and they just released the Ashcan. So if you check that out, it's a nice, fun like magic and planescape sort of game where it's like philosophical and like slipping through different realities, which seems to be like a thing I've been working on a lot lately with Scion Mythic Shards, and then they came from the RPG anthology, which is out. You should check it out. It's a lot of fun. I wrote the space opera chapter, but we'll probably talk a little bit more about that in the They Came From panel. So yeah, and I'm still working on Cult Divinity Lost, the Badlands scenario, so that'll get done eventually, but I'm working on it still, so I'm looking forward to releasing that.
Awesome. Very cool. And thanks for mentioning Realm Walker. I had forgotten that we both worked on that. Um, it was a long development cycle.
Yeah.
Got 2 questions. Well, probably have more questions, but are there any plans to expand the PSP dominions for pantheons that didn't have them? Yes and no. So I have to find a good place to put that information, and right now we don't have that. However, I do have alternate plans that might take care of the issue anyways. We'll see. Waiting on things to get greenlit. So the short answer is people are going to get covered because I am methodical. Except when it comes to planning for panels. Also about the God Player's Guide is playing a Mythos guide very different from playing a mythological one. Yes and no. Like the way that Mythos gods interact with callings is very different, which means that they're doing different things on a day-to-day basis, and they're also experiencing godhood in a different light. So, like, I can't come up with a concrete example right now, but like, they are just generally weirder, and if you like weird, then fun. If you don't like weird, we have other options. And with that, I believe we are out of time. Um, so we will say goodbye to folks for now, but we will be working continuously on stuff because we know that there's lots of Scion fans who want cool Scion stuff, and we're Scion fans who want cool Scion stuff. So we're gonna make it. Well,
You have a
I
fan
mean, it
club,
was an
Geoffrey.
obvious segue. It was an obvious segue to cutting out, but I didn't actually start to cut out. So we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.